Hello random menials, my name is Brother Green, and today we will be reviewing Bandai and McFarlane's Adeptus Astartes, or for the non-40k fan, Space Marines! I love Warhammer 40k, from its lore to its awesome and incredibly talented community. I first learned about the franchise 2 years ago from RussianBadger's Space Marine and Deathwing video game reviews. Links in the description below, they're funny as hell. And the rest is history. If you want to learn more about 40k and its heavy lore, I recommend these videos as well. You will have basic knowledge on what 40k is and what it's all about. As the title says, we will be reviewing two figures of the same type of character they are based on. Bandai's third wave Salamander Space Marine and Todd McFarlane's artist-proof Space Marine. Let's get into it. McFarlane's packaging is pretty standard for most of their figures. Fancy art on the sides, open window display with a stand base taped inside, and on the back is some ads about the other figures in the line. For Bandai's, and just FYI, this is the first ever expensive figure I have ever bought from overseas. Bought it thanks to Big Bad Toy Store, free plug. And they went all out for just the packaging. The sleeve shows off the Space Marine from two angles, and on the back are some dynamic poses. Once the sleeve is off, you get the actual box with an open window display. What makes it so over the top is the gold cardboard inside, a clear reference to the Imperium's excessive use of luxurious material. Bandai's Space Marine has 3 sets of swappable hands which connect via ball peg, and since they are slightly squished, placing the bolter rifle and combat knife is easy with minimal problem. And just throwing it out there now, this figure is basically a repaint of their first wave, the Ultramarine. Salamanders in the 40k lore are pyromaniacs, so it was a giant missed opportunity to not give this battle brother his standard flamer, bolter pistol, and a combat knife. But the rifle is fine, it just kinda looks like a mini cathedral that spits bullets. Holy bullets! For the McFarlane Space Marine, he comes with the base as mentioned earlier, and his only weapon the plasma rifle, which is basically an extra large las rifle for an extra large soldier for the God Emperor of Mankind. And just going to mention the unpainted elephant in the room, the reason why McFarlane's figure is like this is basically a pretty cool reference. See, the Warhammer 40k franchise all stems from the tabletop army builder game, where you collect and paint your own army models. And this is basically an articulated model. And yes, I am going to paint and customize this guy green. Salamanders, hell yeah. Okay, so this was the point where I came to the conclusion as to which Space Marine was built better. And the results may surprise you. But before that, let's talk about the sculpt and articulation. For Bandai, this battle brother has some good points of posability. And the best thing is, most of the armor does not hinder the limbs' wide range at all. However, that's just for the arms and legs. The ab crunch is a different story. I do not know what Bandai was thinking when making the ab crunch like this, but how it works just breaks the sculpt. He can't move back that far, but bend him forward, and it looks more like his spine just grew a few inches longer. And while on the subject of minor gripes, this Space Marine feels so cheap. Some context here, but Bandai is mainly known for their model kits. Specifically, their Gundam line of model kits. And if anyone watching owns Gundams, you will know what I mean. Yeah, this Space Marine basically feels like a master grade model kit, packaged completely built, and sold for damn near 150 bucks. Holding this guy, he feels so hollow but with plastic chunks shoved inside just to make weight. The elbow pads have a habit of coming loose and falling off, but that can be resolved with some super glue. The last gripe, and this is more of a sculpt issue, but the last gripe I have, personally, I do not like the anime-esque style this Space Marine has. You'll see it in a bit with McFarlane's Space Marine. On the western side, McFarlane's Space Marine is, and I exaggerate nothing when I say it, is flat out better. This being a McFarlane figure, the battle brother is heavier, more sturdy, and has the best sculpt representing the look of the 40k Space Marine style. Gothic, hulking, McFarlane captured exactly how a figure representation of a Space Marine should be. But being a McFarlane figure, it sadly does have one thing I never liked from the toy collectibles company. These peg hinge joints at the wrists are God Emperor awful. Strong, yes, but just such a pain in the ass twisting them just so the wrist can bend into other two directions. And yes, between the two in terms of wingspan, the Bandai version could raise his arms higher than the other. But that is the least important flaw of the McFarlane figure. Both figures have pretty similar points of articulation, but one defining part is the ab crunch. Bandai's has their Space Marine grow his spine just a hunch over, where McFarlane's is a brilliantly used and strong ball joint. It does not break the sculpt and works very well. It boggles me why on Holy Terra Bandai would go with such a weird ass approach for an ab crunch. The only point of articulation the Bandai figure does better is the ankle pivot and toe bend. Depending on how you stand them, both figures can support themselves. Now in the lore, the Adeptus Astartes stand 9 feet tall, towering over their fellow humans. In 1/12 scale, both toy companies did well translating their growth spurts. Here are the Battle Brothers standing next to Transformers War for Cybertron Army Drone, which is basically repainted and repurposed Ironhide, Overwatch Ultimate Soldier 76, and my custom action figure Rampage, who straight up just kind of looks like a Katakan jungle fighter. Again, I honestly believe that McFarlane did a way better job than Bandai making these soldiers with the God Emperor of Mankind. The sculpt is more true to the style, the articulation is good enough to get some dynamic poses, and lastly, that ball joint ab crunch makes way more sense than what the 5th Bandai was thinking. I only paid $25 for the McFarlane figure, so price-wise, Bandai Space Marine is not even worth it to me, borderline being $150. It's a lazy repaint, feels cheap, the ab crunch is stupid, and worst of all, they really kind of missed the mark on 2 of the most important things about a Salamander Space Marine. They are lighter green and use fire-based weapons. This guy should have had a flamer! I am honestly kind of disappointed that I ended up hating Bandai Space Marine, not just because of the price, but they at least went out of their way to make one of the most undermined legions of the 40k universe, in my opinion anyway. I don't see any reason to keep this guy when I have 2 real pro-crafted Space Marines in my possession. McFarlane, you fucking nailed it with this WarHammer line. Keep making them, and especially these artist-proof figures. I am actually thinking of buying more to make a little squad or even company. With all that said, I will see you guys next time. Peace!